Father, thank you for today. Thank you for keeping my family and for everything you have done for us. Lord, I need you to help me because lately I do not even understand what is happening to me. What is wrong with me? I have barely started praying, but my mind is already everywhere. During the day, I can think about work for hours, but the moment I sit down before God, I suddenly feel tired and restless.
Samuel, you are still awake. I woke up and realized you had not come to bed. I thought you said you wanted to pray for a little while before sleeping.
That was the plan. I have been trying, but I cannot seem to concentrate tonight. My mind is full of work, bills, and too many things happening at the same time.
It is not only tonight. I have noticed it for some weeks now. You come out here saying you want to pray, then I find you walking around, checking your phone, or sitting quietly, as if something is troubling you.
Ruth, I am just tired. Work has been unusually demanding, and with everything that happened with my mother, I do not think I have completely recovered from the pressure. Maybe my body simply needs more rest than I have been giving it.
Being tired is understandable, Samuel, but that is why I am concerned. Sometimes you say you are too exhausted to pray or even talk properly, but you can still stay awake dealing with other things. It makes me wonder whether it is only tiredness.
There is nothing else. You know how my work can be when several contracts are running at the same time. I do not want you turning ordinary stress into something bigger than it is.
I am not trying to create a problem. I am telling you what I have noticed because I know you. You used to be the one reminding me that when life becomes heavy, that is when we should pray more. But lately, anything connected to prayer seems to tire you.
I have noticed it too, and that is what worries me. Sometimes I wake up determined that today will be different, but once I start praying, my mind suddenly becomes restless. Then throughout the day, the things I am trying not to think about seem to come back even stronger.
What things are you trying not to think about?
Nothing specific. I mean normal temptations, worries, pressure, thoughts that should not be there. I am only saying that spiritually I do not feel as strong as I normally do.
Then maybe you should not carry it quietly. We can pray about it together, or you can speak with Pastor Elias. Sometimes when we are inside a problem, we keep trying to solve it alone until we cannot see clearly anymore.
I do not want to make a big issue out of something that may simply pass. I have prayed through difficult seasons before. I should be able to handle this without making everybody worried about me.
That is the part that concerns me. You keep saying you should be able to handle everything. Your mother's illness, work, money, whatever else is on your mind. Being my husband does not mean you have to hide every weakness until it becomes too heavy.
I am not hiding anything from you, Ruth. I just do not want every difficult week to become a family meeting. Give me a little time. I believe I will be fine.
All right, I will not force you to talk, but please do not confuse being silent with being strong. If there is something you need to tell me, I would rather hear it while we can still deal with it together than discover later that you have been fighting something alone.
I understand.
Come to bed soon. Caleb will probably be in our room before 6 asking whether you remember what you promised him about school tomorrow. You need some sleep too.
I remember. I will come in a few minutes. Hello, Vanessa.
Sorry for calling this late. I only wanted to make sure you got home safely. You looked really stressed before you left the office.
I got home safely. I am fine, just tired. You did not need to worry.
I know I did not need to, but I still wanted to check. Try to get some rest tonight, Samuel. You have been carrying too much lately.
Thank you. Good night, Vanessa.
Good night.
This needs to remain simple. Benedict, it is late. What is it?
I know what time it is, Samuel, but we cannot keep postponing this conversation. I need a clear answer from you tomorrow morning.
I already told you where I stand. Calling me at home is not going to change that.
Then come prepared to stand by that decision when we speak tomorrow. There are things you may not have considered properly yet.
We will talk at work. Good night.
Tomorrow morning, Samuel, do not avoid me.
God, how did everything become this complicated?
Samuel, I have gone through the figures for the new supply contract. Finance can release the first payment once procurement confirms the final quantities. but I do not want us approving anything that will create problems during reconciliation later.
That is fine with me. I have already asked the warehouse team to verify everything again before I sign. If there is any difference between what was ordered and what arrives, we will correct it before your department processes payment.
That is why working with you is usually straightforward. Some people think finance enjoys delaying payments, but most of the time, we are simply trying to prevent problems that somebody will eventually have to explain.
I know, and if I send you something careless, you will probably return it before I even reach my desk. After working with you this long, I have learned not to bring incomplete figures anywhere near your office.
So this is what the two of you discuss every morning? Figures, invoices, and who will reject whose document. No wonder Samuel always looks like he has already worked half a day before everybody else settles down.
Some of us actually come here to work, Vanessa. We cannot all spend the first 30 minutes checking who changed their hairstyle and who came to the office wearing new shoes.
I notice details. That is part of my job. Besides, you are the one person here who hardly stays long enough after work for anybody to notice anything about you.
That one is true. Once it is closing time, Samuel suddenly remembers he has a wife and child waiting at home. If you need him after 6, you had better call before he reaches the car park.
And what is wrong with that? I spend enough time here already. If there is no emergency, I would rather be home with Ruth and Caleb than sit around the office pretending I have nowhere else to go.
Ruth is fortunate. Not every man talks about going home with that kind of seriousness. Some people behave as if marriage is something waiting for them after they finish enjoying themselves everywhere else.
I think I am the fortunate one. Ruth has supported me through things most people never saw, so going home to my family is not a punishment. It is actually one of the parts of my day I protect.
Keep saying that before these younger men around here corrupt you. Some of them think commitment is an old-fashioned disease.
Nobody is corrupting Samuel. He has already built too many walls around himself. Even normal invitations for food after work sound like somebody is asking him to betray national security.
Those walls have saved me from plenty of unnecessary trouble. I know myself, and I know what matters to me. Not every invitation needs to be accepted simply because it looks harmless.
That is one thing I respect about you. You always seem very sure about where your limits are. Some people only discover their boundaries after they have already crossed them.
Then I hope I never become one of those people.
Before philosophy takes over the office, send me the corrected procurement schedule before lunch. I want finance to finish its side today, so we do not carry this contract into another unnecessary delay.
You will have it before 12. I only need the final warehouse confirmation. Then everything will be complete.
And Samuel, I still need your input on the operations report when you are free. It should not take long, but I would rather hear your view before I send the final version.
Bring it after lunch. If I am not in a meeting, we can look at it together. Hello, Auntie Grace. I am at work. Is everything all right? What do you mean she collapsed? Where is she now? Which hospital did you take her to?
Samuel, what happened?
It is my mother. They said she suddenly collapsed at home and they have taken her to the hospital. I need to go there now.
Go. Do not worry about anything here. I will speak with your manager and hold anything that needs your approval until we know what is happening.
Samuel, please drive carefully. You are already shaking. If you need anybody to help with something from the office, just call.
Thank you. I do not even know what happened yet. They only said the doctors are attending to her and somebody from the family should come immediately.
Then go and be with your family. Work can wait.
The doctor said they need to begin the treatment as soon as possible, but they cannot proceed with everything until we make the deposit. I have checked what we have in the account, Samuel. Even if we use almost all our savings, it will still not be enough.
I know. I have already checked mine too. Between what we have at home and what is left in my account, we are still far from the amount they are asking for. I honestly did not expect something like this to happen without warning.
Let us not panic yet. I have called my sister and she said she will send what she can before evening. We can also speak with your brothers and maybe raise the rest gradually.
Gradually is the problem, Ruth. The doctor is not asking us to bring it next week. They want the money now so they can continue with the treatment, and every person I have called so far is either promising something small or asking me to wait.
I understand, but getting angry will not produce the money faster. Your mother is being attended to already, and we still have a little time to find a solution. If necessary, we can sell something or borrow from somebody we trust.
I hate this feeling. She is lying in there, and the only thing standing between her and proper treatment is money. I have worked for years, yet one emergency is enough to make me start calling people like I have nothing.
This is not about pride, Samuel. An emergency can shake anybody financially, even people who are doing well. Right now, the important thing is getting your mother the treatment she needs, not proving that you can carry everything alone.
I know you are right, but it is difficult not to feel responsible. She spent so much of her life taking care of us. Now that she needs me, I should not be standing in a hospital corridor wondering who will lend me money.
You are here, and you are doing everything you can. That matters too. Please do not turn a difficult situation into a judgment about your whole life.
I have called Uncle James, Kunle, and even two people I normally would never ask for help. Everybody has their own problem. By the time we gather all these small amounts, I do not know whether it will still be enough.
Then let us think carefully. There is still the small investment account we said we would not touch unless it was serious. This is serious. We can withdraw from it and rebuild later.
If we empty that too, we will have almost nothing left. School fees are coming, the rent is not far away, and there are other bills already waiting. I am trying to solve one emergency without creating three more.
I know, but we cannot protect savings while your mother needs treatment. We will adjust afterward. We may have to postpone some things, but we will survive that.
I just wish there was another option. Hello, Benedict. Yes, I saw your message about the supply schedule, but I am not in the office today. Something came up with my family. My mother was taken to the hospital this morning. She collapsed at home, and the doctors are still treating her. I will deal with the office matter once things settle down here.
I'm sorry to hear that. Is she stable now?
They are doing what they can, but we have been asked to make a large deposit before they continue with everything. We are trying to arrange it now.
How much is left?
No, Benedict, I was not telling you because I need money from you. I only explained because you asked why I was not at work. I will sort it out somehow.
I did not say you were asking me for anything. I am only asking because I know what it is like when a family emergency comes suddenly. Sometimes the worst part is not even the sickness. It is trying to arrange everything while your mind is already under pressure.
I appreciate the concern. We are speaking with family members now, so hopefully we will raise the balance soon.
All right. Focus on your mother for now. We can forget about the office issue today. If there is anything practical I can do, let me know.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Was that Benedict, the supplier you have mentioned before?
Yes, he called about work, but I told him I am at the hospital. He was only checking what happened.
All right, let us keep trying the family. We will find a way.
I hope so, because I do not know how much longer they are going to wait for us.
Samuel, I came as soon as I could. You sounded really disturbed on the phone, and I did not feel comfortable continuing with my day as if nothing was happening. How is your mother now?
The doctors have started some of the treatment, but they are still waiting for us to complete the deposit before they continue with everything. We have raised part of it, but the remaining amount is still more than I expected.
I understand. I spoke with someone who went through something similar last year, and I know how quickly hospital bills can become overwhelming. Have they given you a final figure for what is still outstanding?
Yes, but I do not want you worrying about that. My wife and I are still trying to raise it. Some relatives have promised to send money, and we are also considering withdrawing from another account.
Samuel, I am not trying to interfere in your family matters. I only came because I know the pressure you are under, and I have already transferred the remaining amount to your account. Check your phone.
You did what? Benedict, you should not have done that. You are a supplier doing business with my company. I cannot just collect personal money from you as if there is no professional relationship between us.
You are making it sound more complicated than it is. I am not paying you for a contract, and I am not asking you to approve anything. Your mother is in the hospital, and I am simply helping someone I know during an emergency.
But that is exactly why I am uncomfortable. If anybody later sees a large transfer from you into my personal account, how do I explain it? I work directly with suppliers, and there are rules around this kind of thing for a reason.
Then treat it as a personal loan if that makes you more comfortable. You can pay me back whenever things settle down. I am not asking you to sign anything or make any decision because of it.
I still do not like it. There should be another way. I can speak with more people, or maybe the hospital will allow us to pay the balance in parts if we explain properly.
Samuel, your mother needs treatment now. This is not the time to allow pride or fear of how something might look later to delay something important. You can sort out the details when the emergency is over.
It is not pride. I just do not want to solve one problem and create another one without realizing it. You and I deal with company business too often for me to pretend this is the same as borrowing money from an old friend.
I understand your concern, and I actually respect it. But if I wanted something from you, I would say it directly. Right now, there is no contract on this money and no condition attached to it.
I will pay you back. I do not know exactly how soon because everything is already stretched. But I do not want this hanging between us indefinitely.
That is fine. Pay it back when you are stable again. I am not going to chase you because of it.
I mean it, Benedict. I do not want this mixing with anything at work later. If there is ever a business issue between your company and mine, it has to remain separate from this.
Of course, business is business. This is only one man helping another man whose mother is sick.
Thank you. I cannot pretend I am not grateful, because right now that money will make a serious difference. I just hope you understand why I am being careful.
I understand completely. Go and focus on your mother. There are moments in life when people need help first and explanations later.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Do not mention it. We all need somebody at some point, and one day you may be in a position to help someone else too.
I will remember that.
Good, then we understand each other.
Let me go and make the payment before they delay anything else.
Go ahead, I will leave you to your family.
She is much better, thank God. She still has some follow-up appointments, but the difficult part has passed. And Benedict, I have not forgotten what you did for us that day.
There is nothing to keep mentioning. I told you already, anybody could have found himself in that situation. I am simply glad your mother received the treatment she needed.
I still intend to repay you. It may not happen immediately because the hospital expenses affected us badly, but I do not want you thinking I have forgotten the money.
Samuel, relax. I did not come here to collect anything from you. Actually, I came because there is a small issue with yesterday's delivery, and I thought it would be easier to explain it directly instead of going back and forth through official channels.
What issue? The warehouse team sent me the preliminary report this morning, but I have not gone through every line yet.
You really do not bend with these things. I respect that about you, but sometimes procedures can become unnecessarily rigid. A little flexibility does not automatically mean dishonesty.
Flexibility is possible when the rules allow it. This one is straightforward. If I approve the full quantity today and something prevents you from bringing the balance tomorrow, I will be the one explaining why I signed.
I understand your concern. I just thought that considering the trust between us, you would know I am not going to leave you exposed.
What trust are you referring to?
Our working relationship, Samuel. We have dealt with each other long enough for you to know that my company eventually does what it promises. There is no hidden meaning behind what I said.
Then let us keep it that way. You complete the supply, the warehouse confirms it, and I approve it. That protects both of us.
Fair enough. I only thought you might help me avoid an unnecessary delay, and especially after everything that happened recently.
Benedict, if you are referring to the hospital, I need us to be very clear. You told me that money was personal help and that it had nothing to do with business. I accepted it on that understanding.
And I meant exactly that. I am not asking you to buy my friendship with your signature. You said no to the request, and I have heard you.
Good, because I am grateful for what you did, and I will repay you. But when you bring something to this office, I have to treat your company exactly the way I would treat every other supplier.
You almost sound as if I came here threatening you. Samuel, relax. I asked for a favor, and you refused. There is no need to make it heavier than that.
I am not accusing you of threatening me. I just do not want any misunderstanding growing between us. It is better to settle that now.
Then consider it settled. I will speak with my logistics team and make sure the remaining items come quickly. Once they arrive, you can approve everything without any concern.
That is the best way to handle it. Send the updated delivery information through the proper channel, and I will inform the warehouse team to expect the balance.
I will do that. And Samuel, you really should stop worrying so much about repaying me immediately. Take care of your family first.
I appreciate that, but I still want the debt cleared as soon as I can manage it. I will feel more comfortable when nothing personal is sitting between us.
I understand. We will talk again.
Benedict, we already discussed this today. Is there another problem?
No problem. I only wanted to make sure you did not misunderstand our conversation earlier. You seemed uncomfortable when you left the office.
I understood you perfectly. You asked me to approve an incomplete delivery, and I said I would wait until the remaining goods arrived.
Fair enough. I just hope you also remember that relationships should work both ways. When someone stands with you during a difficult time, it is good when there is understanding on both sides.
Are we back to the hospital money again?
I did not say that. I am speaking generally. People help each other, Samuel. That is how relationships work.
Then let us not confuse help with obligation. I am grateful for what you did, but I do not owe you decisions that belong to the company.
Nobody said you did. I only hope we can always help each other when the need arises.
Good night, Benedict.
Good night, Samuel.
Samuel, I have checked the delivery again. The quantities still do not balance with the invoice. Most of the items came, but the remaining units Benedict promised have not arrived.
He told me they were already on the way. I expected them yesterday, so I assumed this would have been settled before now. Did his company give you any new delivery time?
Nothing definite. Their driver called this morning and said they were still arranging transportation. That is why I have not changed the receiving report.
All right. Leave it with me for now. I will speak with Benedict directly before we decide what to do. Benedict, I am standing with the warehouse report in front of me. The remaining items are still missing, and finance is waiting for my confirmation before they process your payment.
I know, Samuel, and I am sorry about the delay. The goods are ready, but the truck we plan to use developed another problem. Give me 48 hours and everything will be there.
You said something similar when you came to my office. I cannot keep telling the warehouse to wait while the documents say something different. If the delivery is incomplete, then that is what I should report.
And if you do that now, the entire payment will be held because of a very small balance. We have already supplied almost everything, Samuel. You know I am not trying to disappear with the remaining goods.
That is not really the issue. If I approve the full quantity, I am confirming something that has not happened yet. I do not want to create a problem over something that could simply be completed properly.
There will only be a problem if I fail to complete it, and I am telling you I will not. You already know how much money my company has tied up in this order. A delay from finance will affect salaries and another supply we are preparing.
You are putting me in a difficult position. I told you before that I did not want the hospital issue mixing with company business, and now every time something comes up, I feel as if I am being pushed to prove that I trust you.
I have not mentioned the hospital once. I am asking you as someone who has worked with me long enough to know that I keep my word. If the balance is not delivered within 48 hours, you can hold me responsible.
And if somebody checks the warehouse record before then, what exactly am I supposed to say?
By the time anyone checks, the delivery will be complete. Samuel, sometimes you have to use judgment instead of treating every procedure like it was written for an emergency situation.
Give me the exact assurance that the goods will be here within 2 days. I do not want another excuse after this.
You have my word. 48 hours at most. I will personally make sure of it.
Fine, but this is the last time I am doing anything based on a promise instead of what is physically in that warehouse. Complete the delivery exactly as agreed.
You will not regret it. I appreciate your understanding.
Samuel, finance is ready to process Benedict's payment, but I wanted to confirm something before I release it. The first warehouse report showed a shortage, while your approval now reflects full delivery. Has the balance arrived?
The supplier has confirmed completion. The warehouse record is just behind because the final movement has not been updated properly yet.
Has somebody physically confirmed the remaining items? I am asking because once finance releases the payment, the file will show that every department agreed the supply was complete.
David, I understand how the process works. Benedict has given me confirmation, and the remaining part is already being handled. I do not think we need to hold the entire payment because of a minor documentation delay.
I am not trying to make things difficult. I just prefer the receiving record to support whatever procurement sends me. It saves both of us from explaining discrepancies later.
I know, and normally I would insist on the same thing. This particular issue is already resolved from my side. You can process it.
All right. If you are confirming full delivery as procurement, I will work with that. I just want you to be certain because your approval is what finance will rely on.
I am certain. Go ahead.
Fine, I will release it today.
Why do I feel like I just lied when the goods are still coming? Lord, I know the items will arrive. I did not take anything from the company. I only gave him a little time. But why does this still feel wrong?
Samuel, you have barely touched your food. You have been sitting here for almost 10 minutes looking at the same plate. Is your mother all right, or did something happen again?
She is doing better now, thank God. The doctors are satisfied with her progress, but there are still follow-up appointments and medications to sort out. I think the whole thing affected me more than I realized.
I can imagine. 1 minute you were here discussing contracts with everyone, and the next minute you were rushing to a hospital without even knowing what you were going to meet. That kind of pressure does not disappear just because the person has been discharged.
That is true. People keep asking me whether everything is fine now, and I keep saying yes, because technically she is recovering. But financially and mentally, I still feel like I am trying to catch up with everything that happened.
You always do that. Even when something is clearly heavy, you explain it as if it is only another task you need to complete. Sometimes I wonder whether you ever allow yourself to admit that you are overwhelmed.
I have a wife, a child, a mother who still needs support, and a job that does not slow down because my personal life became difficult. Somebody has to keep functioning. I cannot just stop because I feel tired.
Functioning and being fine are not the same thing. You can still come to work, answer emails, and attend meetings while something inside you is already exhausted. I think people forget that about responsible people because they always look like they have everything under control.
Maybe that is part of the problem. Once people are used to you handling things, you start feeling guilty whenever you cannot. Even at home, I do not want Ruth worrying every time I come through the door looking stressed.
Does she know how much pressure you are still carrying?
She knows about my mother and the expenses, of course. She was there through everything. But there are some things I do not want to keep placing on her when she already has her own responsibilities.
You talk about protecting Ruth a lot. Sometimes protecting someone can slowly become hiding yourself from them. I am not saying that is what you are doing, but you should be careful that you do not become lonely inside your own marriage while trying to look strong.
Ruth and I are fine. We have been through difficult periods before, and she has always stood by me. I just do not think every worry in my head needs to become another burden for her.
I understand. I was not criticizing your marriage. I only meant that you should have somewhere you can speak without feeling like you have to solve everything before you open your mouth.
Lately, even when I want to talk, I do not know where to begin. There are things at work that are irritating me, bills waiting at home, and sometimes I just feel tired before the day has properly started.
Is something serious happening here at work? You have looked uncomfortable since you returned from the hospital, especially whenever certain supplier issues come up.
Nothing I cannot handle. There is just one supplier making things more complicated than they should be, and I am trying to make sure it does not become a bigger problem.
Then be careful with it. You are good at your job, Samuel, but being good at something can make you believe you have to solve every problem alone. If something is putting you under pressure, there is nothing wrong with getting another person involved.
That sounds simple when you say it. Sometimes bringing another person in means explaining decisions you are not even sure how to explain properly yet.
Then maybe you are carrying more than you are saying. I will not push you, but I hope you know you do not always have to give me the polished version of everything. I can listen without trying to fix it.
I appreciate that. It has actually been a long time since somebody asked how I was doing and waited for the real answer instead of accepting I am fine.
That is because most people around you already expect you to be fine. You are the one they call when something needs to be sorted out. People like that are often the last ones anybody checks on properly.
You notice too much.
I told you before, I notice details. Besides, you are not exactly difficult to read when you are tired. You become quieter, and you start staring at things as if they personally offended you.
So now you have been studying me?
Not studying you. I have worked with you long enough to know when you are yourself and when something is sitting heavily on you. There is a difference.
I suppose there is. Thank you, Vanessa. I did not realize how much I needed a normal conversation without talking about invoices, hospital bills, or what still needs to be paid.
Anytime. Just remember that being dependable does not mean you are not allowed to need somebody too.
I will remember that.
Good. And please eat before your lunch break ends. If you go back upstairs with an empty stomach, you will spend the afternoon pretending your headache came from work.
Now you really sound like Ruth.
Then she must know you very well.
She does. I should get back upstairs. David is waiting for some documents from me.
All right, and Samuel, if you ever need to talk again, you do not have to wait until you look completely exhausted.
Thank you. I mean that.
Daddy, my teacher returned our mathematics test today. I got almost everything correct, and she said if I keep improving like this, I may represent my class in the next competition.
That is good, Caleb. Well done. Keep working hard and make sure you do not become too confident because of one good result.
I know, Daddy. I wanted to show you the paper because she wrote something at the bottom for you to see. I kept it inside my school bag so it would not get folded.
Samuel, he has been waiting since he came home to show you that paper. Can you leave the phone for a few minutes and listen to him properly?
Ruth, I heard what he said. I am dealing with something from work that cannot just disappear because we are eating dinner. I can look at the paper after I finish this.
Nobody said your work should disappear. I'm only asking you to give your son a few minutes. You have been looking at that phone since you came home.
Because people keep sending me messages. If I ignore something important and there is a problem tomorrow morning, nobody will remember that I was trying to have a peaceful dinner.
It is okay, Mummy. Daddy can look at it later.
Caleb, I did not say I do not want to see it. Bring it to me after dinner. I am proud of you, all right?
All right, Daddy.
Samuel, this is exactly what I have been trying to tell you. You are physically here, but lately your mind is somewhere else almost all the time. Even small things make you react as if everybody is adding another burden to you.
Because I am carrying a lot, Ruth. My mother is still going for appointments, the hospital expenses affected us badly, and work has been more complicated than usual. I am trying to keep everything moving.
I know all of that, and I am not pretending it is easy. But something about you has changed beyond being busy. You are quieter when you come home, more easily irritated, and you hardly talk about what is happening at work anymore.
There is nothing special to talk about. It is the usual pressure with suppliers, deadlines, and people expecting everything to be done immediately. Once things settle, I will be fine.
You keep saying that, but every week you seem more tired than the week before. Even when I ask a simple question, you answer like you are preparing to defend yourself against something.
Maybe because I feel like every expression on my face is now being examined. Sometimes a man can simply be tired without there being a hidden story behind it.
Of course he can, but when that man is my husband, I will still notice when he is not himself. I am not accusing you of anything, Samuel. I am trying to understand what you are carrying.
I appreciate that, but I honestly do not want to talk about work tonight. I just need my mind to rest.
Then let your mind rest. Put the phone down, eat with us, talk to Caleb, and allow yourself to be home instead of bringing the whole office into this house.
Fine, I will put it away.
Daddy, after dinner can you pray with me about the competition too? Teacher said they will choose the people next week, and I really want to do well.
Caleb, why don't you pray with Mummy tonight? She can pray with you, and I will join you another time. I still have some things I need to finish before I sleep.
But you said last time that you would pray with me when they chose the test.
I know what I said. I am not refusing to pray for you. I am only saying tonight is not the best time.
Samuel, it will take only a few minutes.
Ruth, please, do not turn this into another discussion. Caleb can pray with you tonight, and I will pray with him tomorrow.
It is okay. I can pray with Mummy.
Caleb, go and get ready for bed. I will come to you shortly. What is going on with you?
Nothing is going on with me. I am tired, and I do not understand why that answer is suddenly not enough.
Because you are not only avoiding conversation anymore, you are beginning to avoid prayer too. Caleb asked his father to pray with him, and you looked uncomfortable before you even answered.
I was not uncomfortable. I simply did not feel ready to pray at that moment. There is no law saying I have to lead every prayer in this house.
Nobody said there was, but you used to enjoy doing it. Now I keep seeing you move away from things that once came naturally to you, and I do not want to pretend I cannot see it.
Maybe I am just spiritually tired. People go through dry seasons. It does not automatically mean I have done something terrible.
I never said you had. I only want you to be honest with yourself about whatever is happening before it grows into something harder to deal with.
I will be fine, Ruth. Please just give me some space tonight.
I will, but space should not become a place where you disappear from everyone who loves you.
Lord, help me get myself together. I do not know why even opening this Bible feels like work lately. I know what I did was not perfect, but the goods eventually came. Nobody lost anything. I am not a dishonest person. Just keep scrolling. What am I doing?
You have been unusually quiet since morning. I saw you come in and go straight to your desk without even greeting half the people you normally stop to talk with. Did something happen at home?
Ruth and I had a small disagreement before I left. Nothing serious, but I was already stressed before the conversation started, so I probably reacted more strongly than I should have.
What was the disagreement about?
She thinks I have become distant. She keeps saying I am bringing work home, that I am always on my phone, that I do not talk the way I used to. I know she means well, but sometimes it feels like another person is studying everything I do when I am already exhausted.
I can see why that would frustrate you. When someone is already carrying pressure, even a simple question can start sounding like another demand. You probably just wanted to leave the house without having to explain yourself again.
Exactly. That is what I have been trying to say. It is not that I do not love Ruth or that I do not want to talk to her. I just do not always have the strength to explain everything that is going on in my head.
Maybe she does not fully understand what your days have been like lately. You come here dealing with suppliers, deadlines, financial pressure, and people expecting answers from you. Then you go home and you are still expected to be completely available emotionally.
Ruth has supported me through a lot, so I do not want to make it sound as if she is unreasonable. I know she is worried about me. I just wish sometimes she could see that I am trying, even when I do not have much left to give.
I see that. You are still doing your work, checking on your mother, taking care of your family, and trying to solve problems nobody else even knows about. Most people would have already fallen apart under that kind of pressure.
Sometimes I feel like I am close to it. I wake up tired, go to work tired, come home tired, and even when I try to pray, my mind refuses to settle. Then I start wondering whether something is wrong with me spiritually.
You should not be so hard on yourself. You are human, Samuel. Being tired or confused does not suddenly erase all the good things about you.
You always know how to make everything sound less heavy.
Maybe because you spend too much time listening to what is wrong and not enough time hearing what you are doing right. Someone should remind you once in a while.
Be careful. If you continue like this, I may start coming here every time I need encouragement.
Would that be such a terrible thing?
I am not sure. You may start charging consultation fees.
For you, I might make an exception.
Vanessa,
Relax, I was joking, mostly.
that mostly is exactly the part that can become a problem.
I know you are married, Samuel. I am not trying to create trouble for you. But I will also not pretend I do not admire you because you already know that I do.
Admiration is fine as long as we both understand where the line is.
I understand the line. I have respected it for a long time. But you should also understand that it is difficult watching someone you care about carry everything alone and pretending you do not notice.
Someone you care about?
I care about you as a person. We have worked together for years. I know when you are happy, when you are irritated, when something is bothering you, and lately I have seen you struggling.
Ruth would probably say that is exactly why I should stop talking to you this much.
Do you believe talking to me is wrong?
Not necessarily, but I know how easily something innocent can become something else if people stop paying attention. I have always tried to be careful about that.
Then be careful. I am not asking you to stop being careful. I am only saying that you do not have to treat every person who understands you like a danger.
I do not see you as a danger.
Good. Because I would rather be someone who makes your day easier than someone you feel you need to run from.
You have made things easier lately, I will admit that.
Then allow yourself to receive that without feeling guilty about everything. You deserve to have someone tell you that you are doing your best.
Sometimes hearing that from you feels better than it should.
Maybe because you need to hear it. You are not failing, Samuel. You are just tired. I know.
I mean it. I do not want something harmless to become something we later have to explain.
Then we will not let it.
All right.
Go and finish your work. You have been hiding here long enough, and David will start looking for you soon.
You are probably right.
And Samuel, whatever happened with Ruth this morning, do not go home still carrying anger. She may not understand everything, but she is still your wife.
I know.
Samuel, thank you for coming. I know you have been busy lately, so I will not waste your time. I only wanted us to discuss the new supply contract somewhere we can speak without people walking into your office every few minutes.
I hope this is actually about the contract, Benedict. The last few conversations between us have started making me uncomfortable, and I do not want another misunderstanding about what I can or cannot do for you.
You worry too much. I already told you I respect the way you work. In fact, that is one of the reasons I prefer dealing with you instead of some of the other people who make simple matters unnecessarily complicated.
Then let us keep everything simple. If your documents are correct and the supply matches what the company ordered, there will be no problem from my side.
The documents are fine. There is only one adjustment I need your help with before the final invoice goes through. It is not something that will affect the quality or quantity of what the company receives.
What adjustment?
The invoice needs to reflect a slightly higher figure than the actual supply costs. There are additional expenses on our side that cannot be placed directly on the normal invoice, so we need some room inside the final amount.
No. If the actual cost is one figure, I am not approving another figure because you have expenses you cannot explain. Whatever the company pays has to match what was genuinely supplied.
Samuel, listen before you reject it completely. This happens in business more often than you think. The company still receives everything it ordered, nobody complains, and the difference simply covers people and processes that help the contract move smoothly.
If the money cannot be explained openly, then it should not be inside the invoice. You are asking me to approve a false amount, Benedict. There is no careful way to describe that.
False sounds very dramatic. I am talking about adjusting the margin, not stealing goods from the warehouse. Every company builds profit into its prices anyway.
Profit is not the problem. Your company is allowed to make profit. But if you agreed to one price and now want me to approve an inflated figure because the difference will be used somewhere else, that becomes my problem the moment I sign it.
This is exactly why I wanted us to sit down. You hear one thing and immediately start thinking about investigations and disciplinary panels. Sometimes business requires a little understanding between the people involved.
Understanding does not change what the document says. If I sign it, I am confirming that the amount is legitimate. I cannot do that when you have already told me it is being increased deliberately.
And what if I tell you that part of that difference can come back to you?
What did you just say?
Samuel, there is no need to act offended. You have responsibilities like everybody else. Your mother's treatment emptied a lot of money, school fees are coming, and you have been trying to recover financially ever since the hospital situation.
How do you know anything about my school fees or what I am trying to recover financially?
We have spoken enough for me to know you have a family. It does not take a detective to understand that a man with a wife, child, and sick mother has expenses. I am only saying this arrangement could help you too.
Do not use my family to sell dishonesty to me. The fact that I need money does not mean I am available for whatever you are proposing.
I am not insulting you. I am offering you an opportunity to benefit from something that will happen whether you participate or not. You are sitting there acting as if everybody above you became successful by refusing every convenient arrangement placed in front of them.
What other people do is their responsibility. I am responsible for what I sign, and I am telling you now that I will not approve an inflated invoice.
You said something similar about that first delivery.
That was different.
Was it? The warehouse had not received everything, but you approved the complete delivery because I assured you the rest was coming. You used judgment then, and the goods eventually arrived exactly as I promised.
I should not have approved it before the items came, and I know that now. The fact that the goods eventually arrived does not mean I am going to repeat the mistake with something bigger.
Mistake is an interesting word. If somebody opened that file today and compared the time of your approval with the warehouse record, would they also call it a mistake?
What exactly are you trying to say?
Nothing threatening. I am simply reminding you that the world is not always as clean as you like to imagine it. Sometimes good people make practical decisions because circumstances demand it.
Do not turn what happened into permission for this. I gave you time to complete a delivery. I am not going to approve money for goods or expenses that do not exist.
You keep focusing on the worst interpretation. Let me make it simpler. You approve the invoice, the company receives its supply, My people handle the difference, and you receive something for yourself. Nobody loses.
How much are you talking about?
Enough to take some pressure off you. Enough that you stop calculating every hospital bill, school expense, and household payment before you sleep at night.
I asked because I wanted to understand how far you were willing to take this, not because I agreed.
Of course, but you asked.
Do not read meaning into one question. I am telling you the answer is no.
Samuel, you are an intelligent man. You know how quickly one financial emergency can expose how little security most people actually have. I helped you once because I saw the pressure you were under. This time I am showing you a way to help yourself.
Helping me would be allowing me to repay what I owe you and keeping business clean. This is not help. This is you trying to make me part of something I would have condemned if another person brought it to my desk.
Then repay me.
What?
You keep saying you want everything between us clean. Fine. Return the money I gave you at the hospital, and perhaps you will feel less uncomfortable whenever I ask you to consider something.
You know I cannot return the whole amount immediately. I told you from the beginning that it would take time.
Exactly. That is why I find all this moral outrage a little unnecessary. When you needed flexibility, you accepted it. Now I need flexibility and suddenly everything must be rigid.
Those two things are not the same. My mother was sick. You told me clearly that there were no conditions attached to that money.
And there were no conditions. I have never said otherwise. I am only pointing out that relationships work better when people remember who stood with them during difficult moments.
So this is what that money was really for?
No, do not rewrite the past because you are uncomfortable with the present. I helped you because you needed help. Today I am asking you to consider a business arrangement that could also benefit you.
I have considered it. My answer is still no.
Fine, I will not force you.
That easily?
Why not? I have said what I needed to say. You can go home, think about it properly, look at your responsibilities, and decide whether saying no still feels as simple tomorrow morning.
Do not wait for a different answer.
We will see.
And one more thing. Stop gathering information about my family and using it in conversations like this. Whatever financial pressure I have is none of your business.
Fair enough. But pressure does not disappear because nobody mentions it.
Neither does wrongdoing become right because somebody is under pressure.
Then I suppose you have nothing to worry about.
I am leaving.
Think about it before you make your final decision. Sometimes the opportunity people pray for does not arrive looking the way they expected.
Do not bring God into this. Enough to take some pressure off. No, I am not doing this.
Samuel, are you still dealing with work? You have been holding that phone since we came into this room. I thought you said you wanted to sleep early tonight because you were exhausted.
I am almost done. There are a few things I need to settle before morning. If I leave everything until tomorrow, I will wake up already behind.
You said something similar yesterday, and you were still awake long after I slept. I know your work is demanding, but lately that phone seems to follow you into every part of this house.
It is not the phone, Ruth. It is the number of things happening at work. Suppliers call, people need answers, and some problems cannot simply wait because I have left the office.
I understand that, but not every call needs to be taken at this time of night. Sometimes I feel like you are more available to everybody outside this room than you are to the people inside it.
Please do not start another argument tonight. I already know I have been distracted lately, and I am trying to manage it. I do not have the energy to defend every call I receive.
I am not asking you to defend yourself. I am asking you to notice what is happening. We can sit beside each other for 20 minutes and barely speak because your mind is waiting for the next problem.
I know. I will put the phone away soon.
Is Benedict still disturbing you about that supplier issue?
He has been difficult, yes. He keeps trying to push certain things through faster than I am comfortable with, but I have already told him where I stand. I am hoping he will eventually understand that I am not changing my mind.
Then why does dealing with him still seem to affect you this much? If he is putting you under unusual pressure, maybe you should tell David or somebody above you instead of handling it alone.
It has not reached that level. I can handle Benedict. I just need him to understand that certain things are not negotiable.
You keep saying you can handle everything. I hope you are not waiting until something becomes impossible before allowing anybody else to know there is a problem.
Ruth, please. I said I am dealing with it.
All right.
It is Vanessa.
Vanessa from operations?
Yes, it is probably something from work. Hello, Vanessa.
Sorry, I know it is late. I only wanted to check whether you are all right. You looked really disturbed when you left the office today.
I am fine. I am home already, so do not worry about me.
You keep saying you are fine even when you clearly are not. At least try to get some rest tonight. You have been carrying too much lately.
I will. Thank you for checking. We can talk tomorrow.
All right, good night, Samuel.
Good night.
That did not sound like a work call.
She was checking whether I was okay. She saw that I was stressed before I left the office. There is nothing more to it than that.
Then why did you lower your voice when you answered her?
Because you are standing beside me and I did not want to disturb you. Ruth, please do not turn a colleague checking on me into something suspicious.
I did not say anything was happening between you, but a female colleague calling you late at night just to ask whether you are all right is personal, not work. I think I am allowed to notice the difference.
Vanessa and I have worked together for years. She knows I have been under pressure. She was only being kind.
Kindness is not the issue. I am asking whether this is becoming a habit. Does she call you often like this when you are stressed?
Sometimes we talk, not every day and not for hours. She is simply someone at work who understands some of the pressure there.
Samuel, I am your wife. If another woman is becoming the person who understands the things you will not talk to me about, then I think we should take that seriously before we start arguing about whether anything physical has happened.
Nobody said anything physical has happened. Nothing is happening between Vanessa and me.
Then keep it that way. I am not accusing you, but I do not want to wake up one day and discover that something became inappropriate while everybody kept calling it harmless.
I understand what you are saying.
I hope you do, because lately I already feel shut out of too many parts of your life. I do not want another person becoming closer to the version of you that you refuse to bring home.
That is not what I am trying to do.
Then do not let it become what you are doing without realizing it. Come to bed when you are ready.
I will. Benedict, what do you want now?
You sound irritated. I only wanted to know whether you have thought properly about the proposal I gave you.
There is nothing to think about. I already said I will not approve an inflated invoice.
You may not get another opportunity like this, Samuel. Sometimes people pray for relief and then reject it because it does not arrive in the form they expected.
I told you before not to bring God into what you are proposing, and stop calling me at home about this.
But sooner or later, we will have to settle it.
Good night, Benedict. Everybody wants something from me. Just clear your head and sleep. I should stop this. What am I doing? I tell her there is nothing to worry about with Vanessa. I tell Benedict I want nothing to do with his offer. Then I sit here feeding another temptation by myself. Lord, why does prayer feel so difficult now? Why can I stay awake doing things that make me feel worse, but the moment I try to come before you, I feel like running away? I need to speak with Pastor Elias. I cannot keep calling this a bad season and hoping it disappears. Pastor, do you have a few minutes? I have been wanting to speak with you for some time, but I kept telling myself I would get over it on my own.
Of course. Sit down. You do not look like someone who came to discuss something small, so take your time and tell me what has been happening.
I do not understand my spiritual life lately. I still believe in God. I still come to church, and I still want to pray, but once I actually sit down to pray, everything becomes difficult. My mind starts moving everywhere, I feel tired, and sometimes I just want to stop.
How long has this been going on?
For several weeks now. At first I thought it was only stress, but temptation has also become stronger during the same period. Things I normally would not struggle with are suddenly becoming harder to resist.
When you say temptation, what kind of temptation are you talking about?
Just different things. Thoughts I should not entertain, distractions, anger, things on my phone. I do not want to make it sound worse than it is, but I can tell I am not as spiritually alert as I used to be.
All right. Are you sleeping properly?
Not really. Work has been stressful, my mother was ill recently, and financially things have been tight. Most nights I sleep later than I should.
Then we should not ignore that. A tired person is often more vulnerable than he realizes. Sometimes what feels deeply mysterious is partly a mind and body that have been running without enough rest.
I understand tiredness, Pastor, but this feels deeper. There are times I can stay awake looking through my phone, yet when I open my Bible or try to pray, I suddenly feel weak. That is what scares me.
Then let me ask you something more uncomfortable. What are you doing on the phone during those hours?
Mostly normal things. Messages, work, social media. Sometimes I come across things I should not be looking at.
Come across them or go looking for them?
Sometimes I go looking.
Then we cannot pray for freedom from something while deliberately feeding it afterward. If you keep placing temptation in front of yourself, you should not be surprised when resisting it becomes harder.
I know it is wrong, and I am not proud of it. But that is exactly why I feel like I need God to strengthen me. I keep wondering why the strength is not coming.
God giving you strength does not remove your responsibility to stop walking toward what weakens you. If a man keeps opening the same door every night, prayer is not going to make the doorway disappear while he insists on leaving it open.
So you think all this is simply because of what I watch?
No, I did not say that. I think several things may be happening at the same time, and you are trying to reduce everything to one spiritual explanation, because that may be easier than examining your whole life honestly.
What do you mean by my whole life?
Is there anything you are hiding from your wife? Anything at work that troubles your conscience? Any relationship becoming more personal than it should? Any decision you keep explaining to yourself, even though something inside you knows it was wrong?
Nothing serious. Work has been complicated, but that is normal. And there is nobody I am having an affair with, if that is what you mean.
I did not ask whether you had committed adultery. I asked whether any relationship is moving in a direction you know could become dangerous.
There is a colleague who checks on me sometimes. We talk. She knows I have been under pressure, and honestly she has been supportive, but nothing has happened between us.
Does your wife know how often you speak with her?
Not exactly.
Do you hide the conversations?
I would not say I hide them. I just know Ruth might misunderstand the closeness, so sometimes I avoid bringing it up.
Samuel, when you start protecting a relationship from your spouse because you fear how the closeness would look, that is already information you should take seriously. You do not have to wait until something physical happens before admitting a boundary is moving.
Pastor, she is only someone I talk to. I have not crossed that line.
Good. Then this is the easiest time to strengthen the boundary, before you do. Wisdom does not wait until a temptation becomes an emergency.
I understand.
And what about work? You became tense when I mentioned your conscience. Is there something there?
There was a decision I made that I probably would handle differently if I had another chance. But nobody lost money, and the issue was eventually corrected. I do not think it is the main problem.
Yet you mentioned it immediately when I asked about your conscience.
Because I know it was not perfect, but it is already done.
Something being finished does not mean it has been dealt with. Sometimes we call something small because we do not want to face what correcting it might cost us.
Pastor, I came because I wanted help with prayer. I feel weak, temptation keeps coming, and I thought maybe I needed fasting or some stronger spiritual discipline. Now it feels like you are questioning everything in my life.
Because prayer is connected to your life, Samuel. I can tell you to fast for 7 days, wake up at midnight, and pray for 3 hours every night. But if there are things you are deliberately feeding, hiding, or refusing to correct, you may finish the 7 days and still return to the same struggle.
So what are you saying I should do?
Start with honesty. Sleep when your body needs sleep. Stop deliberately consuming things that stir lust. Put proper boundaries around any relationship that is becoming emotionally dangerous. And if there is something at work your conscience keeps bringing back, stop calling it small long enough to examine it properly.
What if dealing with some of those things creates bigger problems?
That fear may be exactly why you keep avoiding them. Sometimes we pray, Lord, give me peace, when what we really want is peace without having to face the truth that is disturbing us.
I do not know if I am ready to open everything up.
Then at least stop telling yourself there is nothing to open. God is not asking you to pretend you are strong. He is asking you to walk honestly with him.
I came here thinking you would tell me I was under attack.
You may be under spiritual attack. Temptation is real. But temptation also looks for agreement. Exhaustion can weaken you. Secrecy can isolate you. Shame can make you avoid prayer. And repeated compromise can make the next compromise easier.
That sounds uncomfortably close to what has been happening.
Then do not run from that discomfort. Let it show you where something needs to change.
I need to think about what you have said.
Think about it, but do not use thinking as another way to postpone action. If there are doors you know should be closed, begin closing them before you come back asking why temptation keeps entering.
Thank you, Pastor.
And Samuel, when you are ready to speak without protecting the details, come back. I would rather help you deal with an uncomfortable truth now than watch you explain a painful consequence later.
I understand.
Samuel, I was going through the hospital expenses again because I want us to understand exactly where we stand financially. There is something I cannot make sense of. The amount we had in our accounts at the time was not enough to cover everything we eventually paid.
We used money from different places, Ruth. That period was chaotic. Some family members sent money, we withdrew savings, and there were several small payments coming in at different times.
I know all of that because I wrote most of them down. Even after adding what my sister sent and what your relatives contributed, there is still a large amount I cannot account for. I have checked it more than once.
Why are you going through all of this now? My mother is better, the bills were paid, and we already know we are financially stretched because of it. I do not understand why every figure needs to be investigated again.
I am not investigating you. I am trying to plan our finances properly. If we borrowed money somewhere, I need to know because repayment is also part of our expenses.
There was some money I got through work.
Through work? You never told me the company gave you anything.
It happened quickly. There was an emergency arrangement available, and I spoke with someone about getting an advance. I did not want to involve you in another discussion when everything was already overwhelming.
Was it a salary advance?
Something similar. It was processed through finance as an emergency staff loan. I am supposed to repay it gradually.
Samuel, why would you hide something like that from me? A loan affects both of us, especially now that we are trying to reduce expenses.
I was not trying to hide it forever. At that time, the only thing on my mind was getting my mother treated. I knew we needed the money immediately, and I believed I could explain everything once things settled down.
Things have settled down enough for us to be sitting here discussing money, yet I am only hearing about it because the figures did not add up. That is what bothers me.
I should have mentioned it earlier. I accept that. But there is nothing dangerous about it. It is simply money I received through work and will repay.
Did David arrange it?
His department handled the process, yes. You know he is in charge of finance, so anything like that would normally pass through his side.
All right. At least that explains where the money came from. I just wish you had told me instead of allowing me to discover a missing amount and start wondering whether I had forgotten something.
I am sorry. I did not mean to make you feel excluded. I was trying to protect you from another burden.
Samuel, please stop using protection as the reason for every important thing you keep to yourself. I am your wife. If there is debt, pressure, or a difficult decision affecting this family, I should know about it.
You are right. I will do better.
How much is still left to repay?
I need to confirm the exact balance. They have not started deducting anything yet because the arrangement was made during the emergency period.
They have not deducted anything at all.
Not yet. These things sometimes take time to enter the normal payroll process. David's team will eventually sort it out.
Fine. When you confirm the balance, tell me so we can include it in our plans. I do not want another surprise appearing later.
I will.
David, good afternoon. I was not expecting to see you around here. Are you working somewhere nearby today?
Ruth, good afternoon. I had a meeting not far from here, so I decided to stop at one of the banks before heading back to the office. How are you and Caleb?
We are fine. Samuel has been very busy lately, but we are managing. And thank you, by the way. I realized I never properly thanked you for what your department did during his mother's hospital emergency.
What did finance do?
The emergency loan Samuel received. He told me your department processed it when we were trying to complete the hospital payment. It really helped us at a difficult time.
Emergency loan?
Yes, the staff loan or advance he received through the company. Samuel said finance handled it.
Ruth, I do not want to create confusion, but I am not aware of any staff loan or emergency advance issued to Samuel during that period.
Are you sure? He specifically told me it was processed through finance.
I am sure. Staff advances, loans, and emergency payments all require finance approval, and I personally review those records. If Samuel had received one, I would know about it.
Could someone else in your department have arranged something without it coming directly to you?
Not an official company loan of the amount you seem to be describing. Even a smaller advance would appear in our system and eventually on payroll. There is no such transaction under Samuel's name.
Maybe I misunderstood him.
Possibly. He may have borrowed privately from someone at work and described it differently. I would rather you speak with him directly before assuming anything.
Yes, I will ask him. I do not want to misunderstand the situation either.
Is everything all right between you two? Samuel has seemed unusually tense at work lately, but I assumed it was because of his mother and the pressure he has been under.
He has been under pressure, yes. I think there are some things he has not explained fully yet. I just did not realize this was one of them.
I do not want to interfere in anything personal. I can only tell you that finance did not give Samuel that loan.
That is enough. Thank you for being clear with me.
Ruth, I hope I have not made matters worse.
No. If there is something wrong, the problem did not begin because you told me the truth. I would rather know that something does not add up than continue believing something that never happened.
I understand.
Please do not mention this conversation to Samuel yet. I want to hear the explanation from him myself.
All right, I will leave it between you both.
Thank you, David. Samuel, before we talk about anything else tonight, I need you to answer one question honestly.
What happened?
I saw David today. Finance never gave you any loan, so where did the hospital money really come from? I asked you a simple question, Samuel. If finance never gave you any loan, then where did the money for the hospital really come from?
Ruth, I can explain it. I should have told you earlier, and I know lying about the company loan made everything worse. I just did not know how to bring it up without creating another problem.
You did not only fail to bring it up, you looked me in the face and created a story about David's department processing a loan that never existed. That is very different from forgetting to mention something.
I know. I panicked when you started asking about the money. I knew if I told you where it actually came from, you would immediately worry about what it could mean for my job.
Then tell me now, who gave you the money?
Benedict.
Benedict the supplier?
Yes.
Samuel, you accepted a large amount of money personally from a supplier whose contracts passed through your office, and you never told me? You already knew how dangerous that could become before you even collected it.
I did know, and that is why I refused at first. But my mother was waiting for treatment, the hospital wanted the payment immediately, and everybody we called was struggling to raise enough. Benedict came to the hospital and transferred the balance.
Did he offer it as a loan or as a gift?
He said I could treat it as a personal loan if that made me more comfortable. He told me there were no conditions and that business would remain separate. I made it clear that I intended to repay him.
Have you repaid any of it?
Not yet. I intended to start once things became more stable, but the expenses after Mum left the hospital have made that difficult.
So you owe a supplier money, he is still doing business with your company, and he knows you cannot repay him immediately. Samuel, that is not a small situation.
I know how it looks. At the time I was thinking about getting my mother treated, not about how complicated everything might become afterward.
I am not judging you for being desperate at the hospital. I was there too. I know what that day felt like. What I do not understand is why you came home afterward and allowed me to believe everything had been handled normally.
Because I was ashamed of the decision. I knew you would ask the same questions I was already asking myself. I told myself I would repay him quickly, close the matter, and never have to worry you with it.
But you have not closed it. Has Benedict asked you for anything because of that money?
He has made a few requests at work.
What kind of requests?
He wanted some flexibility on a delivery that had a small shortage. And recently, he tried to convince me to approve an invoice I was not comfortable with.
And you are saying this as if it is only an inconvenience. Samuel, he gave you money personally, and now he is asking you to bend rules for his company. That is exactly the danger you were afraid of.
I refused the invoice. I told him clearly that I would not approve anything false. I am not working with him to steal from the company.
What about the earlier delivery you just mentioned? What happened there?
It was a small shortage that was later completed. Benedict wanted the payment not to be delayed while the remaining items were on the way.
Samuel, did you sign anything before those items arrived?
The situation was eventually corrected. The goods came, so there was no loss to the company.
That was not my question. Did you approve the delivery as complete before everything had arrived?
Ruth, I do not want us turning this into something bigger than it was. The missing quantity arrived shortly afterward. Nobody lost money, and the company received everything it paid for.
You are doing it again. Instead of answering directly, you are explaining around the answer. That is exactly how we ended up with a company loan that never existed.
Because every answer now feels like another reason for you to think I have become some dishonest person. I made a difficult decision under pressure. That does not mean everything I have done is corrupt.
I am not calling you corrupt. I am asking whether you crossed a line at work because of a man you owe money to. There is a difference.
I approved it before the remaining items arrived. Benedict promised the balance would come within 48 hours, and it did. Looking back, I should have waited.
Thank you. That is the first direct answer you have given me about it.
I did not take any money from that transaction.
Samuel, stop measuring wrongdoing only by whether money entered your pocket. You confirmed something as complete when you knew it was not complete yet. That is still a problem.
I know, and I have already decided I will never do something like that for him again.
Does anyone at work know that Benedict paid your mother's hospital bill?
No.
Then you need to tell them.
Ruth, it is not that simple.
Why not? He has already asked you to bend one rule and then tried to involve you in an inflated invoice. What exactly are you waiting for before you admit this relationship is dangerous?
Because the moment I disclose the money, the company may suspend me while they investigate. They may question every contract I have ever handled with Benedict. I could damage a career I have spent years building because of one desperate decision.
And what happens if Benedict tells them before you do? Or if somebody discovers the transfer another way? Then they will see a supplier giving you money, followed by you approving his incomplete delivery, while you kept all of it secret.
I can still repay him. Once that money is returned, I can cut off the personal connection completely. I do not need to destroy everything before I have tried to solve it myself.
Repaying him will not erase what already happened. You are trying to solve a transparency problem with more secrecy, Samuel.
So what do you want me to do? Walk into my manager's office tomorrow morning and tell them everything, then hope they understand? What happens to this family if they decide I cannot be trusted and I lose my job?
Do you think I am not afraid of that? I am thinking about Caleb, your mother, our bills, and the little savings we have left. But I am also thinking about what happens if you continue hiding this until Benedict has complete control over you.
I just need time to think.
You have already had time. That is how the first secret became a lie about David and finance. You keep promising yourself that you will fix everything before anybody discovers it.
I said I will handle it.
And that sentence is becoming dangerous. You said you would handle the hospital money. You said you would handle Benedict. You said you would handle whatever has been making you distant. But everything you insist on handling alone keeps becoming worse.
You do not understand how much I stand to lose.
And you do not understand what your secrecy is already costing us. I had to hear from David that my husband invented a company loan because he could not trust his own wife with the truth.
I said I am sorry about that. How many times do you want me to apologize tonight?
I do not want another apology if you are still protecting the same behavior. I want honesty before something happens that apologies cannot easily repair.
I cannot do this right now.
Where are you going?
Outside. I need some air before this conversation becomes worse.
Fine. But when you come back, the problem will still be here. Benedict will still have given you that money, and you will still have to decide whether protecting your reputation is worth continuing to hide the truth.
Hello, Vanessa.
Samuel, I hope I am not disturbing you. You looked really upset when you left work today, and I have been wondering whether you are all right.
No, I am really not all right.
What happened?
Ruth and I just had a terrible argument. I do not even want to go back into the house yet.
Where are you now?
Just outside. I needed to clear my head.
Do you want to talk? I am not far away, and I can meet you somewhere quiet for a little while if you do not want to be alone.
Vanessa, I do not know if that is a good idea.
I am not trying to make anything complicated. You sound like you need someone to talk to before you drive around angry all night.
Give me a few minutes. I will call you back.
All right. I will wait for your call. I almost thought you would change your mind and go back home. When you called again and said you were coming, I could hear that you were still really upset. What happened between you and Ruth?
She found out that the money for my mother's hospital treatment did not come from the company the way I told her. I had to admit that Benedict gave it to me, and once that came out, everything else started becoming harder to explain.
Is that why you did not want to go back inside the house?
Partly. Ruth wants me to report everything to management before Benedict gets more control over the situation. I know she has a point, but doing that could put my entire job at risk.
That is a serious decision. I can understand why you needed some space before making it, but I hope you did not come here because you expect me to tell you Ruth is wrong just because you argued with her.
I thought you were supposed to make me feel better tonight.
I can make you feel better without pretending every person who disagrees with you is against you. Ruth is probably frightened too, especially if she only discovered the truth after asking several times.
That is exactly what she said. She told me I keep saying I am protecting everybody when really I am hiding things until they become impossible to control. I was angry when she said it, but I have been hearing those words in my head since I left.
Maybe because there is some truth in them.
Probably. I just hate feeling like I am failing everywhere at once. At work, I am trying to stop Benedict from dragging me deeper into something. At home, Ruth no longer believes simple explanations from me. Even when I try to pray, I cannot settle my mind.
You have been carrying this for weeks, Samuel. Anybody would feel overwhelmed. You keep behaving as if needing someone to listen means you have become weak.
The problem is that lately you have become the person I want to talk to when I feel like this.
Is that a problem?
I think it can become one. Ruth asked me about you recently because you called late at night to check on me. I defended it because nothing physical had happened, but I knew even then that our conversations were becoming more personal.
I was not trying to interfere with your marriage. I called because you looked exhausted and I was genuinely worried about you.
I know. I am not blaming you. The issue is that I liked it. I liked having someone call just to ask how I was doing, and I started looking forward to talking to you whenever things became difficult.
Maybe because you felt understood.
Yes, and that is where I need to be careful. If I am angry with my wife and immediately come looking for comfort from another woman, I cannot keep calling that harmless simply because nothing physical has happened.
You keep speaking as if I am just another woman. We have worked together for years, Samuel. I know you better than most people in that office, and I care about what happens to you.
That is exactly what makes it more complicated.
Why?
Because I know you have always liked me. You noticed. Vanessa, everybody with eyes probably noticed at some point. You were just respectful enough not to make it uncomfortable. I tried. You were married. You were always clear about your family, and I knew there was no place for me to start saying certain things. So I kept it to myself, until recently. Because recently you started letting me closer. You started talking to me differently. You called me when you were troubled, and tonight you chose to come here instead of going back into your house. I know. Then do not make me feel foolish by pretending you have never noticed what is happening between us. I have noticed it. That is why I am uncomfortable.
I have always admired you, Samuel. I like the way you carry responsibility, the way you treat people, and the way you used to speak about your family with so much confidence. And lately, seeing you struggling has made it harder for me to keep my feelings as distant as they used to be.
Vanessa, you should not be telling me this.
Why? Because it is not true, or because part of you likes hearing it?
That is not a fair question.
Maybe not, but I think you know the answer.
Hearing it does make me feel good. I have spent weeks feeling like everything I touch is going wrong. Then I come here, and you look at me like I am still someone worth admiring.
Because you are. One bad season does not erase everything good about you.
Ruth would probably say this is exactly why I should not be sitting here.
Do you want to leave?
I probably should.
But you do not want to.
No, that is the problem.
Samuel, I am not asking you to leave your wife. I am not even asking you to make promises to me. I am only tired of pretending there is nothing here because saying it makes you uncomfortable.
Saying it changes things.
Things have already changed. We are only finally saying it out loud.
What exactly do you want from me?
If you were not married, I would want to be with you. I have known that for a long time. I never expected to tell you, but lately I have started wondering whether you have thought about it too.
Vanessa.
Have you?
Yes.
Thank you for being honest.
I should not have allowed myself to go there. I have a wife at home who is already hurting because I have been keeping things from her, and somehow I am sitting here admitting that I have imagined what it would be like to be with another woman. Having a thought is not the same as acting on it.
I am reminding myself as much as I am reminding you.
Then look at me and tell me you feel nothing.
I cannot say that honestly.
Neither can I.
Vanessa, we should stop.
Then move away.
This is exactly the kind of thing I have been praying not to fall into.
Samuel?
No, I cannot do this.
You almost did.
I know. And I cannot go home telling myself I did nothing wrong simply because I stopped before the kiss happened. I allowed this to reach a place it should never have reached.
I did not force you to come here.
I know, and I am not blaming you. I made the call. I came here. I stayed after I knew the conversation had crossed a line, and I admitted feelings I should have been starving instead of feeding.
So what happens now?
We go back to being colleagues. No more private meetings like this. No late-night personal calls. And I cannot keep discussing problems in my marriage with you.
You really think you can just decide that tonight and everything goes back to normal tomorrow?
I do not think it will be easy. I am saying it is necessary.
And what about how you feel?
Feelings do not have to disappear before boundaries return. I cannot control how quickly my emotions change, but I can control whether I keep feeding them.
I suppose that is your answer.
I am sorry. I should have protected the line long before tonight.
So should I.
Good night, Vanessa.
Good night, Samuel.
Before everyone returns to their desks, there is something important you need to know. Management has brought the internal audit forward because finance identified some inconsistencies across several supplier transactions. Procurement, finance, and warehouse records will all be reviewed together. Finance has already started preparing the payment files. If procurement has any outstanding corrections, missing receiving reports, or supplier documents that do not fully match what was approved, this is the time to resolve them before the auditors begin asking questions.
When exactly are they starting?
Tomorrow morning. They want the current quarter reviewed first, but they may go further back if anything raises concern. Samuel, since most of the supplier approvals pass through your side, make sure your files are complete.
Understood. I will go through everything again today.
I will send you the list of transactions finance flagged for supporting documents. Most of them look straightforward, but there are 2 files where the timing between warehouse confirmation and payment approval does not match properly.
Which suppliers?
Benedict's company is one of them. The earlier delivery we discussed is on the list because the payment date came before the warehouse record showed full receipt.
The balance was eventually delivered, so the final file should still be complete.
The final file is complete. The problem is the timeline. Auditors do not only ask whether something eventually happened, they ask why an approval was given before it happened.
I understand.
Samuel, if there is anything about that transaction I should know before tomorrow, tell me now. I would rather hear something uncomfortable from you today than hear it for the first time in front of auditors.
There is nothing beyond what I already explained. Benedict promised the balance was coming, and I accepted his assurance. Looking back, I should have waited for the warehouse confirmation before approving it.
All right, just be prepared to explain that clearly. Once an audit begins, informal understandings become very difficult to defend.
I know. Benedict, what do you want?
I heard about the audit. That means the invoice we discussed needs to be approved today before people start locking down files and asking questions.
I already gave you my answer. I am not approving an inflated invoice because an audit is coming.
Then perhaps the audit should make you think more carefully about the position you are already in. They are going to see your approval on that earlier delivery, and the warehouse record will show the goods were not complete when you signed.
The goods eventually arrived. I made a bad decision by approving early, but I am not going to solve one mistake by making a bigger one.
And what will you say when they ask why you trusted my word enough to approve before delivery? What happens if they also discover that I personally paid a large part of your mother's hospital bill?
You told me that money had nothing to do with business. You said there were no conditions attached.
I know what I said, but auditors will not be standing in a hospital with your mother waiting for treatment. They will see a supplier transferring money to a procurement officer, then that same officer giving the supplier an irregular approval.
So you knew all along how useful that money could become if I ever refused you.
Samuel, stop making me sound like I planned your mother's illness. I helped you when you were desperate. What I am saying now is that both of us have something to lose if people start interpreting everything in the worst possible way.
Then tell them the truth if you want. I am not signing that invoice.
You sound brave because you are angry. Tomorrow morning may feel different when your career is sitting across the table from you.
My answer is still no.
Fine. But do not pretend you were not given an opportunity to protect yourself.
Protecting myself by doing more wrong is not protection.
We will see how much comfort that gives you tomorrow.
Do not call me again about this invoice.
Then perhaps the next conversation will happen in front of people you would rather not involve.
Samuel, can we talk for a minute?
If it is about work, yes.
So that is how we are going to behave now? Since the other night, you barely speak to me unless somebody else is around. When I called yesterday, you did not even answer, and you never returned the call.
Because I meant what I said when I left that restaurant. We crossed a boundary, Vanessa. I am trying to stop pretending that we can continue exactly the same way, and somehow nothing worse will happen.
You make it sound as if I crossed that boundary by myself. You called me after arguing with Ruth. You came to meet me. You stayed when you knew how I felt about you.
I know, I am not blaming you. I am saying I have to take responsibility for my part before I use another difficult day as an excuse to come running back to you.
But you cannot spend weeks allowing me to become important to you, and then suddenly decide that avoiding my calls makes everything disappear.
It does not disappear. I know that. But continuing private calls and personal conversations because stopping feels uncomfortable would only make it worse.
So now even calling you is wrong?
Calling about work is not wrong. Calling late at night because I am upset with my wife, talking about my marriage, meeting alone and admitting feelings for each other, that is where we cross the line.
You still wanted to kiss me?
Yes.
Then stop speaking as if distance suddenly means you do not feel anything. You wanted me, Samuel.
I know I did.
And now I am supposed to become only someone from operations because you frightened yourself.
Maybe fear is part of it, but that does not make the decision wrong. I should have created this distance before either of us got hurt.
Do you regret knowing me?
No, I regret allowing a friendship at work to become something I had to hide from my wife.
Ruth still does not know how far it went, does she?
No.
Then you are still hiding.
I know.
I am not threatening you, Samuel, but do not make me the only thing you suddenly want to correct while you continue protecting the rest of your secrets. If you really believe what happened between us was wrong, then be honest about your own part in it.
You are right.
I wish that made me feel better.
I am sorry. I should never have given you reasons to believe there could be something more between us.
But you did.
Yes.
Then whatever you decide to do next, do not rewrite what happened to make yourself look better. You were there too.
I will not.
Good.
Samuel, are you all right? You have looked unsettled since the meeting ended, and now you look even worse.
I am fine. I just need a few minutes outside before we continue preparing those files.
Go if you need to. But Samuel, I meant what I said earlier. If there is anything about Benedict that you have not told me, tomorrow is going to be a terrible time for me to discover it.
I understand.
I hope you do.
Lord, please help me. Everything is closing in at once. Benedict is threatening me. Ruth already knows I lied. Vanessa is right about what I allowed to happen, and tomorrow that audit may expose everything anyway. I keep asking you for strength, but every time I try to pray, I remember another thing I have not dealt with. I do not even know where to begin anymore. Pastor Elias said I might be asking you to close doors I am still leaving open myself. Maybe that is why prayer feels so uncomfortable now. Maybe I already know what I need to do, and I am afraid of what it will cost me.
Thank you, everyone. We will begin with the supplier transactions that showed differences between procurement approval dates, warehouse confirmation, and finance payment dates. Most of the files are straightforward, but there are a few we need explained properly.
Finance has provided the payment schedules, approval dates, and supporting documents you requested. Where there are timing differences, procurement and the warehouse records should help explain what happened.
Samuel, since most of these supplier approvals came through your office, I need you to answer directly where clarification is required. If there was an error in procedure, this is the time to explain it clearly.
I understand. I will answer whatever I can.
Let us start with Benedict's company. According to the warehouse record, the full quantity was not received until 2 days after procurement had already approved the delivery as complete. Finance then processed payment based on that approval. Why was the delivery certified before the warehouse had confirmed everything?
There was a small outstanding quantity at the time. Benedict's company assured us that the remaining items were already on the way. And because the larger part of the order had been delivered, I made the decision not to hold the entire transaction.
You made that decision alone?
I spoke directly with the supplier. He gave me assurance that the balance would arrive within 48 hours, and it did. Looking back, I agree that I should have waited for the warehouse confirmation before approving the full quantity.
Samuel, when I asked you before finance processed payment, you told me the supplier had confirmed completion and that the warehouse record was simply behind. At that point, the goods had not actually arrived yet, correct?
Correct.
So when you told me it was a documentation delay, that was not completely accurate.
I believed the remaining items were already being delivered. I did not intend to mislead you, David. I thought the matter would be resolved almost immediately.
Intention is important, but the approval itself is still inaccurate. Procurement certified full receipt before full receipt had occurred. We need to understand whether there was any reason you were unusually willing to rely on this supplier's word.
I had worked with Benedict's company before, and previous deliveries had generally been completed as agreed. I believed his assurance.
Was there any personal relationship between you and the supplier outside company business?
We knew each other through work. He had contacted me a few times outside normal office discussions, but I would not describe it as a personal relationship.
Samuel, answer exactly what is being asked. If there was anything outside official business, even if you believe it was harmless, say so now.
Nothing that affected the company's final receipt of the goods. The order was completed. I had worked with Benedict's company before, and previous deliveries had generally been completed as agreed. I believed his assurance.
That was not my question.
I understand.
Samuel, if there is something we should know, this is the time. Once documents begin contradicting people's explanations, everything becomes harder.
There is nothing else about that delivery I need to add at this point.
Very well. Then let us move to the newer invoice submitted by Benedict's company. This invoice has not yet been finally approved by procurement, but the supporting cost breakdown is unusual. The figures are considerably higher than the original quotation.
I have not approved that invoice, because I was not satisfied that the revised amount could be properly justified. Benedict spoke to me about adjustments he wanted included, and I told him I would not sign anything that did not reflect the actual transaction.
What kind of adjustments?
He described them as additional expenses and margins that could not be shown clearly under the normal cost lines.
Did he explain where the difference would go?
Not in a way I was comfortable documenting.
Samuel, you never mentioned this to finance.
Because I refused it. I thought once I rejected the invoice, there would be nothing further to discuss.
If a supplier attempts to obtain approval for an intentionally inflated invoice, that is something the company needs to know whether you approve it or not.
I understand that now.
Samuel, why did you keep trying to manage these issues privately?
I believed I could stop the problem without creating a wider situation. I thought if I refused the invoice and made Benedict follow the proper process, it would end there.
Has Benedict ever offered you anything personally in connection with approving this invoice?
Samuel.
He mentioned that I could benefit personally from the difference.
He offered you money.
I refused. I told him clearly that I would not approve the invoice.
Did you report the attempted inducement to anyone?
No.
Why?
Because I knew reporting him would bring attention to the earlier delivery, and I was already uncomfortable about the decision I had made there. I thought I could separate the two issues and correct things without making everything worse.
Samuel, that is exactly what made it worse. You allowed finance to keep dealing with his company without knowing he had already tried to influence you personally.
I know.
This is becoming much more serious than a timing error.
We will need Benedict's company to provide supporting records for both transactions. Has he been contacted?
Yes. Finance requested the documents yesterday. His office said he would deliver them personally this morning.
Good morning. I was told you needed clarification on some of our files.
Come in, Benedict. We are reviewing your transactions.
Of course, I brought the original delivery records, transport notes, and the revised invoice breakdown. I am sure once you go through everything, the confusion will clear up. Certainly, Samuel is familiar with most of the background anyway, so if anything needs explanation, I am sure he can confirm it.
I will only confirm what is accurate.
Naturally.
This transport note shows the full quantity as dispatched on the same day procurement approved the delivery, yet the warehouse record says the final items arrived 2 days later. Why is there a difference?
The goods left our facility together, but part of the shipment was transferred because of a transport problem. It may have reached the warehouse later, but from our side, the complete order had already been dispatched.
That still would not mean the company had received it when Samuel approved it.
Perhaps not physically, but the goods were already committed to the company. Samuel understood the situation at the time.
I understood that you promised they would arrive. That is not the same as saying the delivery was complete.
And they did arrive, exactly as promised.
We are not debating whether they arrived eventually. We are examining whether the documentation accurately reflected what had happened at the time.
Understood. If there is a documentation issue, we can correct it.
This revised supporting document appears to have been created after the original delivery. Why does it carry the earlier date?
That may be an administrative correction from my office. I would need to confirm with my staff.
Benedict, that document was not part of the file when the delivery happened.
It reflects what we discussed.
No, it reflects something different.
What exactly is different?
The document makes it look as if the full shipment had already been formally accounted for when I approved it. That was not the case.
Samuel, I think you are becoming nervous and confusing the sequence. We discussed the transport issue clearly.
Do not tell me what I remember. I made a bad decision by approving early, but I am not going to sign another version of events just because it protects you.
Has anyone asked you to sign or validate additional documentation?
Not yet.
There is no need to make this dramatic. One acknowledgement from procurement that the shipment was already in transit and considered complete from the supplier's side would resolve the inconsistency.
I will not sign that.
Samuel, think carefully before you create a problem that does not need to exist.
Benedict, are you pressuring my employee in front of an audit team?
Not at all. I am asking him to confirm what he already knows.
I know the goods had not arrived when I approved them. That is what I know.
Then that is what will be recorded.
Very well. But if everything is going to be recorded completely, then I assume every part of our relationship should be recorded completely too.
What are you talking about?
You know exactly what I mean.
Samuel?
Benedict, if you have information relevant to this investigation, say it clearly.
I think Samuel should be given the opportunity to explain it himself.
Benedict?
You wanted everything in the light, Samuel. This is your opportunity.
Samuel, is there something else we need to know about your relationship with this supplier?
Samuel, when you called, you sounded worse than I have ever heard you. I almost told you not to drive anywhere because you could barely explain what had happened. How bad was the audit?
Worse than I expected. They found the problem with Benedict's first delivery. Then the inflated invoice came up, and Benedict decided he was not going to let me separate myself from him quietly.
Did he tell them about the hospital money?
He was about to. When they asked whether there was anything else between us, I admitted that he had helped me financially during my mother's hospital emergency. I did not explain every detail before the meeting was paused, but management wants a complete written account before the audit continues tomorrow.
Then they already know enough to start asking deeper questions.
Yes. Once they look properly, they will see a supplier transferred a large amount of money into my personal account before I approved an incomplete delivery. I can explain why I accepted the money, but I cannot make the situation look clean, because it was not clean.
Your mother was seriously ill. You were desperate, Samuel. You did not wake up one morning planning to become involved in anything dishonest with Benedict.
But I still accepted the money. Then when he started asking for favors, I kept everything quiet because I was afraid of what would happen if anybody discovered the connection. I approved something I should not have approved, misled David about it, lied to Ruth, and kept telling myself I was fixing things.
You made bad decisions under pressure. That does not mean every good thing about you has disappeared.
It is not one bad decision anymore. That is what frightens me. Every time I tried to protect the first mistake, I created another problem that needed protecting.
Including what happened between us?
Yes, I cannot leave you out of that simply because it is uncomfortable to admit.
You were very clear about wanting distance after the meeting. For days, you hardly spoke to me unless it was necessary. Yet tonight, when everything went wrong, I was still the person you called.
I know, I should not have called you.
But you did. And when I told you I was here because of the work event, you still chose to come.
Because I could not face going home. Ruth already knows about Benedict and the false company loan, but she still does not know about you. I kept imagining walking through that door and seeing her while knowing there was another truth I was still hiding.
So instead of facing her, you came to the person who already knows you are struggling.
Maybe that is exactly what I did. With you, I do not have to pretend everything is fine. You already know I am confused, frightened, and not nearly as strong as people think I am.
Samuel, that is part of what has made this so difficult for me. You come to me when you are broken because I make you feel safe. Then when you become afraid of what that closeness means, you push me away again. I cannot keep being the person you need privately and the person you avoid publicly.
You should not have to be. I have been selfish with you too. I accepted your attention because it made me feel better while knowing I had no right to encourage what was growing between us.
You wanted it too.
Yes, I did. I am tired of pretending that you were the only one with feelings.
Then maybe tonight, you should stop fighting everything for a few hours. Your company may suspend you tomorrow. Ruth is already angry, Benedict is threatening you, and you have spent weeks trying to hold together a life that is clearly falling apart.
What exactly are you asking me to stop fighting?
Everything. You do not have to solve your career tonight. You do not have to decide what Ruth will think tomorrow. You can sit here with somebody who cares about you and allow yourself to stop being responsible for everyone for once.
That sounds comforting when you say it.
Maybe you need comfort.
That is what makes this dangerous. I already know I am attracted to you. We almost kissed the last time we were alone. I cannot sit here pretending this is only two colleagues talking anymore.
I am not pretending either. I wanted you to kiss me that night.
And I wanted to. I stopped, but I wanted to. That should have been enough reason for me never to put myself in this situation with you again.
Yet here you are. I have a room upstairs because the company booked rooms for those of us attending the event. You do not have to drive home immediately when you are this upset. You could come upstairs, sit somewhere quieter, and leave when your head is clearer.
Vanessa, we both know going to your room would not be an innocent decision.
I am not forcing you to do anything. I am telling you that you have somewhere you can stay for a while without everybody demanding answers from you.
And what happens when the door closes?
Whatever we choose to allow.
That is exactly the problem.
Samuel, I care about you. I am tired of pretending I do not want you simply because wanting you creates a difficult situation.
Right now, part of me wants to go upstairs with you. I want one night where I do not think about Benedict, the audit, Ruth, David, church, or whether everybody who respected me is about to discover what I have become.
Then stop thinking for a while.
That is how I got into most of this. I keep wanting relief before I think about what the relief will cost me.
Samuel,
I have spent weeks asking God to help me resist temptation, and now I have driven myself to a hotel to meet a woman I already admitted I have feelings for. At some point, I have to stop acting like temptation is only finding me. I keep arranging meetings with it.
do not make it sound like I am some evil thing that happened to you. You made choices too.
I know, I am not blaming you. That is exactly what I am saying. Whatever happens here tonight will also be my choice.
Then what do you choose?
I do not know if I trust myself enough to answer that right now. It is Caleb.
Answer him.
I do not even know what I am going to say.
He is your son, Samuel. Answer the phone.
Hello, Caleb.
Daddy, are you coming home soon? Mummy said I should go to sleep, but I wanted to ask you first because you promised we would pray together tonight.
You are still awake because you were waiting for me.
A little. I tried to stay awake, but I am very sleepy now. If you are still working, it is okay. We can pray tomorrow.
No, Caleb. Daddy is not working.
Then where are you?
I am somewhere trying to sort out something I should have dealt with differently. But I am coming home.
Okay, should I wait for you?
No, do not force yourself to stay awake. Pray with Mummy if you cannot wait. But I want you to know Daddy is coming home tonight.
Okay, Daddy, I love you.
I love you too, Caleb. Good night.
Good night, Daddy.
Samuel?
My son was waiting for me to come home and pray with him, and I am sitting here thinking about going upstairs with another woman.
You have not gone upstairs.
But I came here. I called you. I sat here knowing exactly how I felt about you. When you mentioned the room, I did not immediately stand up and leave. Part of me was already preparing to cross the last line.
I wanted you to stay too. Do not carry this as if I had no responsibility.
You are responsible for your choices. I am responsible for mine.
So you are leaving.
Yes, and this time leaving cannot only mean walking out of this hotel. I cannot keep running to you whenever my marriage becomes difficult or whenever I feel ashamed of myself.
I knew this day would come. I just did not think it would hurt this much when you finally decided to close the door completely.
I am sorry. I gave you emotional access I should never have encouraged, then kept pulling away whenever I remembered the consequences. That was unfair to you and wrong toward Ruth.
I made choices too. I knew you were married from the beginning, and I still allowed myself to hope that your problems at home might eventually create space for me.
There is no good ending for this if we continue.
I know.
I do not know what Ruth will do when I tell her everything. I do not know what management will decide tomorrow. I may lose my marriage, my job, or both.
Then, if you are finally going to tell the truth, tell all of it. Do not leave me out because that is the part you are most afraid of losing Ruth over.
I will tell her.
Good. Good night, Samuel.
Good night, Vanessa. Lord, I have spent weeks asking why temptation keeps finding me while I feel too weak to pray. But tonight I drove myself straight to the place where I knew temptation was waiting. I cannot keep asking you to deliver me while I keep protecting the things that are destroying me. I do not know how much the truth is going to cost me, but I cannot keep hiding.
Samuel, I was about to leave when I saw your car outside. You look completely exhausted. What happened?
Pastor, everything you warned me about is happening now. The last time I came here, I told you I was struggling to pray, but I did not tell you enough for you to understand why. I kept removing the details that made me look responsible for what was happening.
Then do not remove anything tonight. Forget about protecting how I see you and tell me what has really been going on.
It started when my mother was admitted to the hospital. Ruth and I could not complete the payment, and Benedict, one of our suppliers, gave me the remaining money. I knew accepting personal money from him was dangerous because of my position, but my mother needed treatment and I was desperate.
Did your company know that you received money from him?
No, I told myself I would repay him quickly and nobody would ever need to know. I did not even tell Ruth where the money came from.
What happened afterward?
Benedict had a delivery that came short. He asked me to approve it as complete because he promised the remaining goods would arrive within 48 hours. I refused at first, but eventually I agreed.
Were all the goods there when you gave the approval?
No, they arrived later, just as he promised, but when I signed, the delivery was not complete. Then David questioned the difference before finance processed the payment, and I made it sound like the warehouse record was simply behind.
So that was the work decision you described as something small when we spoke before.
Yes, I kept saying nobody lost anything because the goods eventually arrived. It allowed me to avoid admitting that I knowingly approved something before it was true.
And Benedict did not stop there.
No. Later he wanted me to approve an inflated invoice. He even offered me part of the money for myself. I refused, but I still did not report him because by then I was afraid he would expose the hospital payment and the first approval.
So the first compromise became the reason you felt unable to expose the second temptation.
Exactly, and Benedict understood that. He started calling me and reminding me how the hospital transfer would look if management ever discovered it. Today the audit reached his transactions and everything started coming apart.
What does management know now?
They know the first delivery was approved early. They know Benedict later proposed an inflated invoice. When he started suggesting there was more between us, I finally admitted that he had helped me financially during my mother's hospital emergency. The meeting stopped before everything could be examined fully, and they want a complete account.
Which means tomorrow, you will have another opportunity to decide whether they received the whole truth or another carefully edited version.
Yes.
What about Ruth? How much does she know?
She discovered the hospital money because I lied to her. When she noticed our finances did not add up, I told her I had received an emergency company loan through finance. I even mentioned David's department because I thought that would make the story believable.
Samuel.
I know. Ruth later met David and thanked him for helping with the loan. David told her there had never been any loan. That is how she discovered I had lied.
And when she confronted you?
I admitted Benedict gave me the money, but even then I kept trying to reduce what happened with the first delivery. She had to keep asking before I finally admitted that I approved it before everything arrived.
You were still giving her only enough truth to survive the question in front of you.
Yes.
And Vanessa?
That is the part Ruth still does not know.
Tell me.
Vanessa is my colleague. She has liked me for years, but before all this, I kept clear boundaries with her. I knew she admired me, she knew I was married, and we never allowed it to become anything serious.
What changed?
I changed. When the pressure started becoming heavy, she noticed. She would sit with me at work and listen. Sometimes she called after work to check whether I was all right, and I started enjoying those calls more than I should have.
Did Ruth know about the closeness?
Not fully. Ruth heard one of the late calls and questioned why Vanessa was checking on me personally at that hour. I defended it as a colleague being concerned, even though by then I already knew I was becoming emotionally dependent on Vanessa.
What were you discussing with her?
My stress, Benedict, how tired I was, and eventually problems between Ruth and me. I started talking to Vanessa about things I should have been discussing with my wife. Whenever Ruth challenged me, Vanessa became the easier person to talk to because she made me feel understood without knowing everything I was hiding.
And the relationship became romantic.
Yes, we met alone after an argument between Ruth and me. Vanessa admitted she had feelings for me, and I admitted that I had started feeling something too. We came very close to kissing before I stopped.
Did you end the relationship after that?
I tried. I stopped taking unnecessary calls and kept my distance at work. I told her we needed to return to professional boundaries.
But tonight you went back.
Yes. After the audit, I was terrified. I knew management was getting closer to the truth, and I could not face going home because Ruth still did not know about Vanessa. I called Vanessa instead.
Where did you meet her?
At a hotel. She was there for a work event. She had a room upstairs, and eventually she told me I could come up with her if I wanted somewhere private to calm down.
Did you want to go?
Yes. That is the truth. I wanted to stop thinking for one night. I wanted relief from the audit. Benedict, Ruth, the lies, all of it. And for a while I was willing to use Vanessa to get that relief.
What stopped you?
Caleb called me. He was still awake because he had been waiting for me to come home and pray with him. I answered the phone while sitting there with Vanessa.
What did he say?
He asked whether I was coming home because I had promised we would pray together. He was sleepy, but he had been waiting for me. Pastor, I was sitting in a hotel considering whether to go upstairs with another woman while my son was waiting at home for his father to lead prayer.
That must have forced you to see what you had been avoiding. It is important that you understand that difference. Gratitude that you stopped should not become an excuse to minimize how far you deliberately walked toward the temptation.
I understand.
You also mentioned things on your phone the last time you came here. Has that continued?
Yes. At first, inappropriate content would appear while I was scrolling, and I would stay longer than I should. Later, I started searching for it deliberately, especially at night when I was stressed or angry.
And afterward?
I would feel ashamed. Then I would try to pray, and the moment I became quiet, everything would come back to me. Benedict, Vanessa, what I had watched, the lie to Ruth, the way I spoke to Caleb. Eventually, I started avoiding prayer because I knew what silence before God would force me to remember.
Samuel, prayer was not becoming impossible because God had moved away from you. You were becoming uncomfortable with the honesty His presence required.
I can see that now.
You kept asking God to remove lust while deliberately consuming what fed it. You asked Him to protect your marriage while allowing another woman to become your private emotional refuge. You asked Him to deliver you from Benedict while refusing to expose the secret that gave Benedict power over you.
And I kept calling all of it spiritual attack.
Spiritual attack can be real without removing human responsibility. Temptation may knock on the door, Samuel, but there were doors you kept reopening yourself.
I came to you before expecting a stronger prayer, maybe fasting or something that would make me feel powerful again.
Prayer and fasting are powerful, but they cannot become religious ways of avoiding obedience. You cannot pray all night for freedom from an inappropriate relationship and then answer the same private call the next evening because you feel lonely.
I know.
And you cannot pray against corruption while continuing to hide a supplier's personal financial connection from the company. At some point, the prayer has to become action.
Pastor, if I tell management everything tomorrow, I could lose my job.
You could. I will not promise you that honesty will protect your position. Some consequences may remain even after genuine repentance.
And if I tell Ruth everything about Vanessa, I could lose my marriage too.
You may deeply wound her with the truth, but the wound did not begin when you decided to confess. It began when you gave another woman access you knew your wife would not be comfortable with.
I do not know how she will look at me after I tell her about the hotel.
That is not something you can control. Your responsibility is to stop controlling what Ruth knows because you are afraid of how she will respond.
So I tell her everything.
Everything relevant. The personal calls, the emotional closeness, the private meeting, the feelings you admitted, the almost kiss. Tonight, at the hotel, do not tell her only the parts you think she can forgive easily.
And Vanessa?
That private relationship ends completely. If work requires communication, keep it strictly professional. No personal calls, no private meetings, no conversations about your marriage, and no running to her whenever home becomes uncomfortable.
I tried to create those boundaries after the first meeting, but the moment everything became difficult again, I broke them myself.
Which means you need accountability stronger than a private promise. You have already learned that when you are frightened, ashamed, or exhausted, you are capable of explaining your way around your own boundaries.
You are right.
And deal practically with the online temptation, too. Remove access where you can. Do not sit alone at midnight feeding something and then call yourself spiritually weak, because resisting it becomes difficult afterward.
I made everything so complicated. I do not even know what to say to God anymore.
Stop trying to sound spiritual. Tell him exactly what you have told me.
Lord, I have blamed pressure, temptation, tiredness, and people around me, but I know I made choices too. I kept asking you for strength while protecting things I knew were weakening me. I kept asking why prayer felt difficult when I was afraid of what you would ask me to face. I am tired of hiding. Give me courage to tell Ruth the truth and to tell my company the truth, even if I lose what I have been trying so hard to protect. And help me stop returning to the doors I already know I need to close.
Amen.
That prayer was not long, but it is the first one in weeks where I did not feel like I was arguing my case before God.
Because this time you came to confess, not negotiate.
I will go home and tell Ruth tonight. Tomorrow morning, I will give management the complete account before Benedict gets another opportunity to control the story.
Do it while you are still afraid. Courage is not waiting until the consequences stop frightening you.
I am afraid, Pastor, but I finally understand that hiding is costing me more than the truth ever could.
Samuel, where have you been? Caleb waited for you until he could barely keep his eyes open. You called and said you were coming home, but you still stayed away for a long time.
I am sorry. I went to see Pastor Elias because I realized I could not come back here and continue telling you only the parts of the truth I thought I could survive. There are things I still have not told you, Ruth, and I need to tell you everything tonight.
Every time you say there is more, I become afraid of what the next sentence will contain. I already know about Benedict, the money, and the false company loan. What else have you been hiding?
The situation with Benedict is worse than I admitted. I approved that first delivery before everything had arrived, and when David questioned me before finance released payment, I allowed him to believe the warehouse record was simply behind. Benedict later offered me money to approve the inflated invoice, and I refused, but I did not report him because I was afraid the earlier things would come out.
So even when I forced you to admit you approved the incomplete delivery, I still did not know the whole situation. You kept deciding how much truth I was allowed to hear.
Yes, I kept telling myself that if I confessed only what had already become impossible to hide, I could fix everything else privately. All I did was create more things to hide.
Is Benedict the only thing you have not told me?
No.
Samuel, what happened?
There is something involving Vanessa.
Vanessa from your office?
Yes.
The same Vanessa who has been calling you late at night to check whether you are all right?
Yes, those calls were not always about work. At first, she was simply concerned because she could see I was under pressure. But I started talking to her about things I should have been talking to you about.
What kind of things? So, while I was asking you to let me into your life, another woman was already becoming the person you ran to.
Yes. I started looking forward to her calls. I took some of them privately. We met alone after one of our arguments, and Vanessa admitted she had feelings for me. I admitted that I had started feeling something for her too. Yes. No. After the audit today, I was terrified. I knew management was getting closer to everything with Benedict, and I could not face coming home knowing I was still hiding Vanessa from you. Instead of coming here, I called her. Yes.
Did you sleep with her?
No, I did not.
Then tell me exactly what happened. Do not use nothing happened because you did not sleep with her.
Vanessa had a room upstairs. She told me I could come up if I wanted somewhere private to calm down. We both knew it could become more than that, and I wanted to go with her.
You wanted to?
Yes. I was tired of thinking about the audit, Benedict, you, my job, and everything I had done. Part of me wanted one night of escape, even though I knew what that escape would mean.
What stopped you?
Caleb called me. He was waiting because I had promised I would come home and pray with him. I answered while I was still sitting there with Vanessa.
Our son had to remind you that you had a family waiting for you.
Yes. Hearing his voice made me see where I was sitting and what I was about to do. I left immediately.
Do not expect me to celebrate that you stopped at the last moment, Samuel. You called her. You went there. You stayed long enough to consider going upstairs with her.
I know. I am not telling you this so I can claim I remained faithful because we did not sleep together. I had already betrayed important boundaries before the hotel.
I kept asking you what was wrong. I asked whether you were struggling. I asked whether there was something at work. I asked whether we should pray together. And while I was trying to reach you, you were taking your heart somewhere else.
You are right. I kept saying I was protecting you from pressure, but I was protecting myself from conversations that might expose me. Vanessa became easier because I could give her only the version of myself I wanted her to see.
Do you love her?
No, but I enjoyed being wanted by her. I enjoyed feeling understood and admired when I felt ashamed everywhere else. I allowed that feeling to become more important than protecting our marriage.
I do not know what to do with that answer. Part of me is angry, and another part is wondering how long I have been living beside someone who kept deciding what reality I was allowed to know.
I understand if you need space. I am not asking you to forgive me tonight or reassure me that our marriage will survive. I only know I cannot keep controlling the truth because I am afraid of the consequences.
Good, because I cannot make you feel better tonight. You finally telling the truth does not remove what I now have to process.
I know.
What happens with Vanessa now?
The personal relationship ends completely. No private calls, no private meetings, no discussing our marriage with her, and no running to her whenever I am upset with you. If work requires communication, it stays strictly professional.
You already promised yourself that once, and still called her again when you became desperate.
That is why I spoke with Pastor Elias about accountability too. I cannot depend only on what I promise myself when I am tired or ashamed. I need people who can ask me direct questions before I start explaining my way around my own boundaries again.
And Benedict?
Tomorrow morning I am giving management everything. The hospital transfer, the early approval, his proposal for the inflated invoice, the money he offered me, the pressure, the calls, and everything that happened during the audit.
Samuel, you may lose your job.
I know, that fear is what kept me hiding from the beginning. But protecting the job has already cost too much.
Then when you go tomorrow, do not leave one more thing out because you think it will make the situation easier. I do not want another half confession coming back into this house.
I will tell them everything.
I need time with everything you have told me tonight. I do not know what our marriage will look like tomorrow, Samuel.
I understand.
Go and tell the truth at work. After that, we will deal with what happens here one day at a time.
Thank you for even allowing that much.
Do not thank me yet. Just stop hiding.
I will.
Samuel, you asked for this meeting before the audit continues. You said there was information you did not fully disclose yesterday. We are listening.
Yesterday, when I was asked whether there was more to my relationship with Benedict, I gave only part of the answer. I am here now because I do not want the company learning the rest from him or from another investigation.
Then start from the beginning and be precise. Do not minimize anything because you think it may help your position.
During my mother's hospital emergency, Benedict transferred a large amount of money into my personal account to complete her treatment. I accepted it knowing he was a supplier dealing directly with my department, and I did not disclose the payment.
Samuel, you knew that should have been declared.
Yes, I knew it was dangerous, but I was desperate. I told myself I would repay him quickly and keep it completely separate from company business.
Did it remain separate?
No. Later, Benedict asked me to approve an incomplete delivery as complete, so finance would release payment. I refused at first, but eventually I approved it after he promised the remaining goods would arrive within 48 hours.
Which means when I asked whether the delivery had actually been completed, you knowingly gave me an answer that was not accurate.
Yes, I did.
Did Benedict openly tell you that you owed him that approval because of the hospital money?
At first, he did it indirectly. He spoke about helping each other and reminded me several times that people should remember who stood with them during difficult periods. Later, when he proposed the inflated invoice, the pressure became much clearer.
Explain the inflated invoice.
He wanted me to approve an amount above the legitimate transaction value. He said part of the difference would cover people who helped move the contract, and he offered me a personal share from it.
Did you accept the offer?
No.
Did you report it?
No,
Why not, Samuel? At that point, you knew this was no longer about a delayed delivery.
because I knew reporting him would expose the hospital money and the first approval. I thought I could refuse the second request and quietly end the relationship without exposing myself.
Instead, you allowed a supplier who had already attempted to compromise you to remain active while nobody else knew what was happening.
Yes, that was wrong.
What happened when you continued refusing the invoice?
Benedict started calling me more aggressively. He reminded me that the warehouse timeline could expose the first approval, and he pointed out that the hospital transfer would look suspicious if management saw it alongside that transaction.
Did he directly threaten to expose you?
Not always in direct words, but the meaning became clear. Yesterday, during the audit, he indicated in front of everyone that there was more to our relationship and pushed me to explain the financial connection myself.
What evidence have you brought with you today?
I brought the original bank transfer showing the payment Benedict made during my mother's hospitalization, the hospital records from the same period, the procurement and warehouse documents connected to the incomplete delivery, the inflated invoice he later brought to me, and my written timeline of every important interaction I can remember.
Anything else?
My phone records also show repeated calls between Benedict and me, including several calls outside normal working hours around the periods when he was pressuring me. The call records do not prove what was said, so I am not presenting them as if they do. I am giving you my full account of those conversations.
That distinction is important. We will treat the call history only as supporting context and investigate the substance separately.
At least you are being precise now.
I should have been precise from the beginning.
Samuel, you understand that coming forward voluntarily now does not erase your own misconduct.
I understand. I am not asking the company to treat me as innocent. Benedict pressured me, but he did not force me to accept the money, approve the first document, or hide what was happening.
I wish you had told me when I first asked about that warehouse discrepancy. We could have stopped the situation before it grew into all this.
I know. I was more concerned about preserving your respect than telling you something that might make me lose it.
And hiding it damaged that respect more than the original mistake would have.
I understand.
We have already identified other irregularities connected to Benedict's company. Some of the patterns resemble what you have described: personal assistance, unusual supplier relationships, and later pressure around approvals.
So this may have happened with other people.
We are still investigating, so we are not making final conclusions yet. But there is enough to justify a wider review of Benedict's business activities.
That does not reduce your responsibility.
I know. I do not want what Benedict may have done to other people to become an excuse for what I chose to do.
Effective immediately, you are suspended while the investigation continues. Your access to procurement systems and company records will be disabled today.
I expected that.
Suspension is not the final disciplinary decision, but considering what you have admitted, you should prepare yourself for serious consequences.
I understand.
Samuel, I am deeply disappointed. I will not pretend otherwise, but I am glad you finally stopped allowing Benedict to decide when the truth would come out.
I should have done it much earlier.
Yes, you should have.
I am sorry, David.
We can deal with that another time. Right now, cooperate fully with the investigation. No more partial answers.
There will not be.
Hand over your company identification and access card before you leave. Compliance will contact you regarding the next stage.
All right. I spent weeks trying to protect this job from the truth. Now I may lose it because I refused to tell the truth when I still had the chance.
Whatever happens with your employment, continuing to hide the situation would only have made the damage worse.
I know that now.